Hey guys, Lawrence here, and I just wanted to jump in before I actually play the video that I recorded almost a week ago. The video you're about to watch is a very negative one where I really rant on this scooter a lot. And I have some very good reasons for that, as you'll see in the video. However, at first I was like, okay, I'm not publishing this until I get a reply from them. Then I got a reply from Furosystems saying that they think it's a production error, but there are just some fundamental issues with this device as well, which is why I'll publish this video anyway. I hope Furosystems isn't going to be too angry with me about it, but that's just the way it is. It's going back to them tomorrow morning or noon, depending on when UPS shows up. So I just wanted to get this video out because I did already record it. They promised me to send me a new one from a new batch, which will be in the end of January, which is great. And if that scooter is a lot better than this one, and it is really just a production error, I'll shut down this video, I'll put it on hidden, make an apology video and all that sort of stuff. But there are just fundamental issues with the scooter that I wanted to talk about. So with that out of the way, let's play the video. Hey guys, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews, and today I'm making a pretty serious video. Yesterday I received the Furosystems Fuze Max, an electric scooter from I think a British company, and yeah, they sent me an email, do you want to test it? I'm like, heck yeah, I want to test it, because the spec sheet on this thing is pretty bonkers. It claims to do 55 kilometers of range, over 40 kilometers an hour of speed, which is of course not road legal, but I'm fine with that, to be honest. And just some really bold claims, again, about the comfort riding it, front and rear suspension, with coil suspension as well, not air or like rubber damper suspension. So it should be comfortable, should be fast, should be fun, right? Wrong. So I got it and it was completely mangled in the box. Now, obviously, it's been to a couple of reviewers before me, and so probably those previous reviewers damaged the box or the packaging or even the scooter before I got it. That sort of stuff happens. It's not really a problem with me, even though there are quite a few like paint marks on here, like just paint chips missing. There's some glue residue from where a protective cover was on the base plate here where you stand on, but again, you stand on it, no one cares if there's a little bit of glue residue, until you keep in mind that this is a 950 euro scooter, which is 3 times as much as an upcoming video that I'll be doing on another scooter. Stick around for that. It's also not perfect, but it's better in every single way. Now, I was a bit put off with the bad packaging, and I figured, okay, let's give it a proper checkup, check absolutely every single bolt on this thing, and so I did. Because it just got to me, and so the brakes were loose, everything was loose. I had to tighten this, I don't really know what you call it, but there's a quick release plate on a different piece of aluminium extrusion that goes into this bottom sort of Stereotube, I guess you call it. So there was flex in here, and then, actually no, I'm gonna wait with that part for the rest of the rant. The grips were loose, the stem was loose, everything was loose, but again, if it's a new product, you receive it, you should do a bolt check on everything. It's why I always say in my mountain biking videos, bolt check your bike all the time, because stuff gets loose, it's fine. But then I got on it, and there were some bigger issues. So I'm gonna bring the camera in and go over those bigger issues one by one, and hopefully convince you guys to not spend your money on something like this, because it's a death trap. So one of the first things I noticed was this Stereotube. Now, they put a quick release style lever on here, which I did up really tight, and this of course allows you to raise or lower the handlebars. And then when it's completely loose, there's about this much play, right? So when you tighten it, you would expect all that play to go away. Well, there is still play. It's hard to show on camera, but it does move around while riding. And it's really difficult to center your steering or your handlebars with the actual direction you're going in, because there is quite a bit of room for play no matter how tight you put this. It will always slip, which is sketchy to say the least, but it's nowhere near as bad as what I'm about to show next. All right, so scooters, mobility scooters, they're designed to be somewhat portable, so it's normal that you can just undo a pin here and then the entire thing folds down on itself. Now, what most scooters using this sort of design do is they weld a massive bracket here to the base plate. What Furosystems done, or whoever makes these for them, they took this very thin, I think this is about 3 mil, or something like that, including the paint, piece of mild steel, I guess, and they bolt it down to the base plate. There's 4 bolts, tiny little bolts, I think they're M4s, could be M3s as well. And this is where it gets really sketchy. This bolt has 2 washers, this bolt has 1 washer. 2 washers would be fine with me, 1 washer would be fine with me, but why does this bolt have 2 and this bolt only have 1? That makes no sense, and it's that sort of stuff that really made me wary. So the scooter has disc brakes, mechanical disc brakes, front and rear, and they're really powerful, and I'm a fan of that. You can lock up the front wheel, it will send you over the bars if you do. There's no ABS or anything on this thing, and honestly, while that is not ideal for most people, I personally couldn't care less. I think if it's an overpowered scooter, motor-wise, I'll get to that in a bit, it should be overpowered in the brakes as well. Perfectly fine with me, no problem there. However, if you make a big heavy scooter for big heavy riders going really fast, you expect this thing to be solid. You expect it to be stiff enough to not be super sketchy. So if I now grab a handful of front brake, see this? Do you see how much play there is in this hinge system? I've done up all these bolts, and there are a lot of bolts. I've done up every single one of them. And this is how much flex there is in this system. There's flex coming from this pivot here, and there's a little bit coming from this pin, which is kind of stuck right now because, again, the pin isn't where it should be. So it obviously folds like that, but when the weight is on there, you can't get the pin out because it's not in the correct position because this pivot point here is just super sloppy. Again, quick demonstration, super sloppy. Now, when I found out about this, I was really sketched out, but again, I wanted to see how fast it goes. So I got all my protective gear on and went for a really fast ride, and that's when I noticed the following. If this forwards and backwards flex isn't bad enough to sketch you out going 40 k's an hour on an electric scooter, have a look at the sideways flex. I'm pretty sure if I were to put all my weight on this, actually I could, see how much that flexes? That is just completely not okay. I'm just going to grab a scooter here that costs 1/3 of the price and do the exact same test. Let's see if it's still in frame. It is. This is the Quick Wheel S1C Pro. This one's €370, that one's €950. Same test. Handful of brake. Only thing flexing is the front tire, no flex in the chassis. If I do a forwards rearwards flexing thing, 0 flex. And this is again 1/3 of the price. So from a mechanical quality standpoint, this scooter is an absolute joke. Even if it doesn't break right now, this hinge, what happens when there's a lot of movement in metal is little holes get stretched out, you get little micro cracks, and eventually the whole thing will snap off. Now, if that happens at 40 kilometers an hour, that's not going to be very good for your face or the rest of your body. Now, luckily, Furosystems has their 40 kilometer an hour plus claim kind of saved here, and their safety kind of saved here because it doesn't do 40 plus kilometers an hour.
So I don't know if you guys can see, but the watch says 31 and the screen now says 35. So it's reading a little bit high. Let's get more aero. Should have taken the peak off my helmet. We went 32.8 kilometers an hour tops. Let's go in the other direction, see if we can go any faster. That was 35.6 k's an hour. Oh, this is actually slower going uphill than my quick wheel.
I got on it yesterday in the geared free or the highest speed mode that runs multiple directions. So I went in 4 different directions to make sure there's no hill or wind advantage or disadvantage going on. And I only got 37.5 out of it by speed tucking. which was really scary because the whole thing flexes around, especially when cornering. Now, at this point, some of you are probably thinking, well, it goes faster than the speed limit. They shouldn't be selling this anyway. It's illegal. Well, it's illegal to ride on public roads, and I am not against making an electric scooter that breaks the law because it's too fast. If you want to ride this on private property, fine. If you're in a country where the speed limit's higher, then fine with me. I don't really care. Same for the brakes. They're ridiculously powerful and they can send you over the bars, but it's kind of what you buy a product like this for. It's because you want something super high-end, super powerful. Same goes for the motor. So right here we have a hub motor. It's 750 plus watts, or 800 as I think it is, or as it should be. And it's really powerful. I really like the motor. It's powerful, it's not super loud. But then again we get to problems with the way it's mounted, because it's mounted to a suspension system over here that isn't aligned very properly. And there's a lot of knocking noises when you go through the suspension, not just at someone with my weight, which is with full riding gear and protection on probably around 100 kilograms, but also with lighter people riding it, because I did get a buddy to ride it real quick, just to make sure that I'm not being a difficult person for once. And he fully agreed with me on pretty much every single comment I make about this thing. So, really powerful motor, really powerful brakes, I like that. But it's not done properly once again. It's just poor alignment, poor choice. Like, these are super cheap ass little dampeners or suspension units. It's just a steel coil, and then inside here is probably a piece of rubber that compresses and decompresses to deal with the rebound aspect and the compression aspect of it. So no, not very good. But it gets worse because of the way the control unit works for the scooter. Let me demonstrate. All right, so I kind of fancy spaghetti after seeing this because I'm getting a bit hungry. But this is your control unit. If we just power it on, we can see our numbers. 8 kilometers ridden with this, and I won't be doing more. You can see your gear mode. So gear 1 is about 10 kilometers an hour. Gear 2 is a road legal 25k an hour. Gear 3 unlimited. So again, I don't mind having it unlimited. What I do mind, and this is a bit dangerous to do while filming, you have your throttle here. So it's a lever throttle. Let me just grab a handful of rear brake, and it's a lever throttle. If you let go of the brakes without putting it to a start, it just goes. Let's do a burnout in the shed now. It's a bit hard to do a burnout. Maybe if I just stand in front of it. I wish we had smell-o-vision on YouTube. There's smoke everywhere here. I love the smell of rubber. So that's giving me a smile about this thing, but everything else is pretty sad. So yeah. I like the idea of making a scooter overpowered. It's dangerous, but it's dangerous in a fun way. I don't mind that. Putting massive, really powerful, stoppy capable brakes on a scooter, dangerous, but I like that. Making a scooter that is just mechanically flawed to the point where this will break within a month, tops a month, I don't like that. This is dangerous for all the wrong reasons, and it's not dangerous in a fun way. There's no challenge to riding something that can snap at any moment. And therefore, I don't think this Furosystems Fuze Max should be on sale. The build quality is shocking, and I'm not even mentioning the crappiness of all the cables and the fact that the button to put the lights on and off has already broken after 2 kilometers and using it once. I'm not talking about that stuff, or even the really crappy suspension on it. Just the build quality in this hinge is shocking, and it should not be allowed to sell something that is dangerous in a mechanical failure sort of way. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. I'm gonna go eat my spaghetti because these cables got me all hungry, and it's also really cold in here, as you can see from the smoke coming out of my mouth. That's not tire smoke. But I'll see you guys in the next one, probably on this scooter right here. It's a chunky boy and it's not perfect, but as I said, it's better in every single way than this one. And I want to send this back right away, because if it doesn't get simple stuff like just welding this thing here right, then I do not trust the electronics in here, and I don't want my shed to catch on fire.